All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. We're starting here with a leak regarding a new FromSoftware game that is apparently very deep in development and will be releasing as soon as next year. Being reported by PlayStation Lifestyle, Elden Ring developer FromSoftware seems to have a lot on its plate. The company just launched Elden Ring Night Rain this year, with the Nintendo Switch 2 exclusive The Duskbloods slated for next year. According to a new leak, it seems that the lauded studio has another project on the horizon. According to MP First, FromSoftware is in the late stages of development of an unannounced multi-platform game codenamed FMC. The publication claims that unless the game is internally delayed, it will be releasing sometime in 2026. What this new FromSoftware game is still unknown. However, based on the codename FMC, MP First speculates that it could be a new Armored Core entry or a remaster/remake of an already existing game. This does seem to be a plausible outcome with some of the information that has come out in the past year. Specifically, insider Special Nick Baker claimed a Dark Souls 3 remaster was in development, but did not give many details about the rumored project. A new Armored Core entry may not be as plausible as the last one just released 2 years ago. However, as fans on Reddit had suggested, the series has seen smaller spin-offs shortly after a numbered entry releases, so it's not out of the realm of possibility. There is an obvious outlier here that many fans would love to see remade. A Bloodborne remaster or remake has been requested by fans for years. FromSoftware boss Hidetaka Miyazaki has stated that he wasn't opposed to revisiting Bloodborne, so there may be a possibility that a new version of the beloved PS4 game sees the light of day at some point. And it is worth noting that it's been confirmed by MP First that this game is a multi-platform title, so it's very unlikely to be something related to Bloodborne because of that. Although, if it was something related to Bloodborne, you could see Sony wanting to release that on PC, which would technically make it multi-platform. But yeah, I wouldn't expect anything Bloodborne related. However, it would be very interesting if this does turn out to be a Dark Souls 3 remaster, because that is something that we heard about previously. We know that Dark Souls 1 got remastered. I think they did like a re-release for Dark Souls 2 for the PS4 and the Xbox One, but they never really did anything with Dark Souls 3, and that's a game that I think, would be a great one to remaster if they're going to do any, and I would absolutely be excited for that. But I could also see why people would be very frustrated at the notion of getting a Dark Souls 3 remaster before getting a Bloodborne remaster. And it could also be something Armored Core related. Personally, I'm not into Armored Core, and I think a lot of people would be disappointed if that's the case. But, it is still very much possible. But there you go. I wanted to be sure to report this for you guys. We're moving on to the next topic. This is another report that comes from PlayStation Lifestyle, and it says, as some may have expected, the PlayStation 6 may feature increased RAM without dramatically raising the costs. However, that increase may not be as high as some might expect. This speculation comes from Digital Foundry after being asked if they believe there was a chance next-gen consoles would come with a lot of RAM. According to the tech experts, although they wouldn't use the word a lot, they believe the PS6 could see up to 32 gigabytes of RAM, but with 24 gigabytes being a more realistic target. For context, the PS5 features 16 gigabytes of GDDR6 with the PS5 Pro, including a 9th DDR5 memory. Specifically on the Sony side, who is going to have a more traditional console where they have direct control over the OS, direct control over the apps that are possibly run while the game is there. I think they're going to have a minimum of 24 gigabytes and maybe a maximum of 24, says Digital Foundry's Alex Battaglia. He mentions this could possibly be a likely outcome, as what Sony are currently doing within the framework of the PS5 is great. However, to implement the on-hardware machine learning and advanced ray tracing technology, they will need more. Despite it not necessarily being a lot, he added that having 24 gigabytes would be amazing. Yeah, I think this is going to be either 24 gigabytes or 32, but I think 24 would be fine. So obviously this is just speculation, but it is coming from Digital Foundry, and I'm actually just more curious what you guys think. We have been talking more about the PlayStation 6. We've been getting some leaks and some interesting information, but when it comes to the RAM that the PlayStation 6 will offer, do you think Sony is more likely to go with 24 gigabytes or 32? I'm thinking they're probably going to go with 24. 32 would be interesting, and I think that would be more than people would expect, but let me know your thoughts down below. Moving on from that, we have a not so great report regarding Sony's live service. Once again, PlayStation Lifestyle reports Sony Interactive Entertainment's live service endeavors have taken another hit with Destiny 2 Edge of Fate. Bungie's latest expansion opened to 1/3 of the player numbers that Destiny 2's previous expansion saw, raising concerns about the game's long-term health. According to Steam charts, Edge of Fate, which launched on July 16th, peaked at 99,193 players. Previous expansions, The Final Shape, Lightfall, and The Witch Queen, all peaked at 314k, 316k, and 290k players, respectively. This is a pretty big drop for a multiplayer game, especially one that is a major contributor to Sony's current live service revenue. Destiny 2 has been struggling for a while, with Bungie admitting in 2023 that the game was underperforming. So, yeah, this is something that I do think we need to highlight because that is a massive fall off. Going from over 300,000 players down to like 290,000, not a huge drop, it's a little bit of a dip, but going from 290,000 players to less than 100,000 with your next expansion, I'm going to be honest, guys, it's really not looking too good for Bungie. Between what's going on with the marathon situation, it being delayed indefinitely, and now it seems like the only thing that's still working for them, or was working for them, Destiny 2, is looking like it's beginning to struggle. I don't know, man. I'm not exactly sure what Sony's going to do, but it does seem like they're going to have to do something. Just thought it would be worth reporting on this because, yeah, it's going to be interesting to watch how things unfold and unravel with Bungie going forward. Moving on to the next topic, and this is the final topic and something very significant that has went kind of viral. It is a report that has to do with GTA 6 and the PS5 Pro. I'm going to refer to Push Square. They say here social media is awash with speculation that Sony engineers are helping Rockstar to achieve 60 frames per second in GTA 6 on PS5 Pro. In the hotly anticipated sequel's most recent trailer, the footage was running at 30 FPS on a standard PS5. But in a widely shared X post, user Detective Seeds claims to have sources telling him that the game is currently being optimized for the PS5 Pro with assistance from PlayStation and is running at 60 FPS across, quote, multiple graphical settings, end quote. As of right now, 60 FPS is being achieved on the PS5 Pro only. This could obviously change before release. It is anticipated that GTA 6 will have multiple graphical options on the PS5 Pro on release. Also, the Rockstar/PlayStation marketing deal is what's allowing and encouraging this collaboration on optimization. It should see several GTA 6 PlayStation bundles in the next marketing push. This info is from a PlayStation engineer who has provided highly accurate and verified info several times in the past. That's exactly what Detective Seeds had to say. The article continues, there's a lot to unpack here, so let's break it all down. Firstly, we don't really like rumors like this because, as Detective Seeds himself points out, the details could change before launch. We would also add that a marketing partnership with Rockstar has not been officially announced yet, although it does seem likely. Sony's always enjoyed a good relationship with the label, those timed Xbox 360 exclusive GTA 4 add-ons aside, and the latest GTA 6 trailer being captured on the PS5 is a good example of some kind of deal being in place. Regardless, it would make sense for PlayStation engineers to be helping on this game. As we already know, an updated version of the platform holder's proprietary upscaler PSSR is expected to roll out on PS5 Pro next year, and it would make sense for Rockstar to be able to take advantage of that. Detective Seeds has since doubled down on the rumor, claiming his source is the same one who told him about the aforementioned PSSR upscaler improvements, which were mentioned by architect Mark Cerny in a recent interview. We did a little bit of digging, and while the user has certainly shared reliable information in the past, he also reported that the rumored Gears of War collection would not have multiplayer. So yeah, this is a rumor that's beginning to trend, and I'm seeing a lot of reporting being done on it. And I do want to say here that they point out that Detective Seeds was not correct about Gears of War not having multiplayer. To be fair, everybody that was reporting on any rumors or any insiders claiming anything about Gears of War, they all were basically saying that it was going to be a collection and there would not be multiplayer. So he was not the only one that was wrong about that. But he has had correct information in the past, and he seems to be relatively transparent about it, basically saying like where he's getting it from, and just saying that these are certain sources he's talking to, that some of them have proven to be more accurate than others, which you can certainly appreciate. My opinion on this, I think it's certainly believable. We know that the last GTA 6 trailer was shown on a base PS5, and Rockstar was sure to let us know about that. It does seem likely there is some kind of marketing deal in place, but even if there isn't a marketing deal, we do know for sure about a PSSR update that's coming next year. It's going to be massive, and I have no doubt in my mind that Sony is going to try to work with Rockstar to optimize GTA 6 for not only the PS5 Pro, but the base PS5. This game is going to do quite literally record-breaking numbers across the board, and Sony absolutely wants to be right there at the forefront of it. So all of this actually does make sense. It would be very impressive if we find out the PS5 Pro runs GTA 6 at 60 FPS. The only thing I want to say here is we should still take it with a grain of salt, only because we don't want to be disappointed. I don't know that I'm just going to assume now going forward that, oh yeah, it's a for sure thing, lock it in, 60 FPS GTA 6 on the PS5 Pro. I wouldn't be shocked if it turns out that no, it's still going to run at 30. But still, it would be a big deal if the Pro runs this game at 60. And I think Sony may understand that. Anyway, guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like, subscribe if you're new, hit the bell notification icon, and feel free to share the video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.